we did a lot of travel in Canada, throughout the States. There was definitely some sketchy nights. Actually, a lot of it in America. Like, remember that time we were in Chicago? It's very sketchy neighborhoods. Just sleeping at night, and you just hear things, and you just feel very unsafe. Yeah, or like just like people walking by the van, banging the van, and you just like stay huddled in there. Or in New York one time, we were in Brooklyn, and we were sleeping, and then this like massive crew came and sat on our back bumper.
What?
Yeah, like a tiny little van. They sat there and they were just smoking a joint. And
Did they know you were in there?
No. And we're like, what do we do? Do we stay quiet? Should we stay quiet? I was like, should I turn on the light? Should I beat the horn? Like, I had no idea what to do. Yeah. And we're just like, okay, let's just stay quiet. And we just stayed quiet for like half an hour, and then they left.
Did the whole van smell like weed after that? Like what?
It was definitely smelling like weed. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think like we've had so many beautiful moments too. Like our van was in Morocco when the pandemic happened.
Okay.
So 2020, we shipped our van over from Canada to Europe and drove it all the way down to Morocco. And as the pandemic hit, we were in Morocco and they shut everything down. So the two of us and our best friend Lee were living in this tiny van together, and we couldn't even like go on the streets or go grocery shopping, but we were on the beach living in Morocco. It was kind of amazing. Like, I know the pandemic was so hard for so many people, and of course there was a lot of adjustments we had to make, but that time was so special and
it felt really so surreal because we were so it felt like we were so disconnected from the world, and we were just like living on the beach, like walking barefoot up the street, buying bread from the local guy and eating fruit. And then you see these clips of pandemic and everyone in New York City, they're all got masks and no one's going to work. And we were just like, what is happening with life? We literally thought life was ending, right? And we were all scared, like, oh, should we leave? Should we leave? And we were kind of like, well, we're in the best situation possible. We've got our house. We've got a beautiful beach. The people in Morocco are so friendly. So that was like a really cool experience to be able to, kind of thrive during the pandemic. We did end up leaving because we got like the last flight out, and it was quite lucky to be able to get access to that. But we've also driven down to Mexico in the van. Like, we've had some pretty big adventures.
Our van broke down in mainland Mexico, right in the middle.
First time going into Mexico, the engine like blew up essentially, like metal. I don't know what actually happened, but like the metal got in the oil, and so the motor was completely destroyed. And this is our home, right?
No.
And so we're in Querétaro, Mexico, and we were at the Mercedes dealership, and they don't use the same motors. And we end up spending so much time trying to get translation, figuring out what's going on with our van. We end up figuring out that we can't fix it in Mexico. The only option is to get back to America. So we throw it on a flatbed, and I ride with this Mexican dude up to the border.
For like 16 hours, Eamon and this man.
16 hours?
Yeah,
we
were
speak
in the
English.
middle of Mexico.
And we get to the border, and it's like 2 a.m, and there's like prostitutes everywhere. It's like this sketchy border town. And I'm thinking like, whoa, this was a horrible idea. Like, I'm using Google Translate to talk to this guy, and he says, I can't get you across the border.
What?
And the plan was always for him to get me to Texas.
He didn't have a passport, I don't think.
And he's like, I can't do it. And I was like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, my car is here. And he was like, started to offload the car. And I'm freaking out, thinking I'm going to be stuck in this little town.
Where are you at this point?
I stayed back because I thought, well, I don't need to be on this. I just was like in a hotel.
It's a one-man adventure.
Well, like we have friends that are from Mexico, and they've even told us like there's parts of the border that they're very scared of.
The borders are sketch.
Like they're Mexican, and they're like, I love Mexico. It's great, but the borders where they get scared. So hearing about you almost getting dropped off there, bro.
So he offloaded your van?
So he offloaded the van, and I'm still not sure what's going on. Finally, someone else, like his uncle or something, calls me, and he explains in broken English, I'm coming to get you. And I said, well, who are you? Like, are you affiliated with this tow truck company? And I'm just like, okay, sweet, dude, you're coming to get me. And he shows up with a Subaru. And I'm like, what's the plan here, bro? And he throws chains onto the van.
Oh my.
And drives me. I didn't even know you could do this. He like towed me across the border, and like really sketch because like the hill was coming, so he had to go faster in the hill because no one was in the van like using the brakes, so he could have like the van could have it was unbelievable.
Did you vlog any of this?
Yeah, I think we have a whole video of it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I need to watch that now.
Yeah.
I'm so invested.
It was hilarious. And we had made it to Texas. We ended up putting it on a flatbed, driving it to the Mercedes dealership. We made like a whole merch campaign to try and get a new engine. We sold a bunch of merch, paid for a new engine. They threw a new motor in. Then I drove back down to Mexico.
You could make a whole entire feature film about this story.
I know, honestly.
That was very resilient of you.
Thank you. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it really was.
I think there's something about Eamon that like kind of our friend Louie and you were just talking about this. Like Louie's traveled the world for years and years, and it's like you both kind of love that kind of chaotic. Am I going to go to jail? Like
like when we get a flat tire, it's like it's go time. It's like time for me to shine.
Like,
you know?
he loves it.
Do you feel that? Because I feel like we're very similar.
No, Matt does not know how to change.
The only time I'm okay with something bad happening is like if I'm making a video, I'm like, hey, you know what? This is unfortunate that I got a flat tire right now.
Yeah.
But this makes for an interesting video.
Yeah, you YouTube long enough, you start to. Yes. It's a weird thing. It's like, you know what? It's one of those things too, where something bad happens to you, you're gonna tell people that story forever. Just like, you know, now I have
love
this
memory. So I'm like, okay, this is really not ideal, but this is gonna be a good story one day.
I have this dumb memory of this stupid thing happening to me, and now I can laugh about it with my friends in the future.
Like,
you know,
that's a good story.
Yeah,
that's a good story to have.
Yeah.
So Morocco, would you guys say that was one of your favorite countries to visit? Because I didn't realize, like, that's pretty freaking sick that you shipped your van across the ocean. So, like, where would you say from everywhere that you visited is, like, where would the coolest place be that you really connected to?
We took our van down through Baja, Mexico. So, like, down the peninsula of Mexico. And we actually started a dog sanctuary in Cerritos. Yeah. So we just saw, like, all the stray dogs there, and we kind of settled last or 2 winters ago, and it felt like we were creating this community, and it just felt so wrong to be able to witness like all these stray dogs, and the culture there doesn't really consider dogs as pets, and we love dogs. And so we found ourselves like just in a weird series of events opening a dog rescue there.
It was amazing.
And I think that was like the most connected to a place that's not Canada that we've ever felt.
Yeah, we met this dude, Alejandro, who runs a hotel, So Far So Good, shout out, in Cerritos. Really cool hotel. And then he was like, hey, I've got this extra piece of land. And he had already started like taking in puppies, and he had like a really sketchy like piece of cardboard with a bunch of puppies. And we're like, well, look, we're YouTubers. Like we could maybe like raise some awareness and try and make some money. We ended up making it way bigger than it was originally planned to be, because he had a nice piece of land like right on the strip of the beach and an old shipping container. And we're like, this is perfect. We'll do a cafe. The cafe will support the dog shelter.
Aww,
and
that's amazing.
Bec was actually, she was at a bachelorette party. She was away for the 3 days that this mastermind plan was being baked.
So this is all your idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was going on.
And she gets back, and I was like, babe, like, how are you doing? Like, can I make you a cup of tea?
Yeah, so just like to let everyone
warm her up a little
give
bit.
context, Eamon is like dream, crazy. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he calls me sometimes like the dream crusher. But really what I am is like the grounded one who's like, okay, how can we take on like 10 projects at once? So I get back from my best friend's bachelorette, and he's like, can I make you a tea? Oh, what would make you more comfortable? I'm like, what is going on? Like
what did you do?
He's like, I need you to wire a large amount of money to Alejandro. I'm like, who's Alejandro? What
30K.
for? Like, I have no clue what is happening. And it was the best thing we've ever done.